How you doing, guys? Welcome back. It's LSP. It's currently the 6th of October 2021. We're going to do the usual breakdown on Bitcoin, and I'll do a pre-AMA analysis on CHSB. Before I get started, give the video a thumbs up because I said so, and subscribe because that's just what you do when you come to channels and you like the content. Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. So with all of that said, awesome meeting everybody at the AMA, Swissborg AMA yesterday. That was fantastic. It was really cool, actually. I had a really nice time, and it was nice to meet the team and get a talking to everybody, and actually see Cyrus and Alex and Anthony and some of the other members of the Swissborg team, talking, seeing how they present themselves. I left with a lot of confidence in Swissborg, and to be honest, with what I saw yesterday, not just the announcements and things like that, but with the people that are driving Swissborg forward. I will be making some arrangements to invest more money into CHSB, because I absolutely love what they're trying to do, and I've got absolute confidence in their ability to be able to pull it off, and refine it in such a way, where shit just works, So, with that said, I'm going to go into the Bitcoin analysis first because we've had a really nice run on Bitcoin. I want to kind of just bring you back a little bit, to some things that I said previously, and I think it's important to revisit these ideas because it kind of solidifies that one that I know what I'm talking about, which is important to me. I want you guys to know I'm not just some random guy on YouTube. I know what I'm talking about, and obviously I like my analysis to confirm that. I was saying a while ago, that during the month of October, last week of September, going into the month of October, we're going to see some volumes come into the marketplace. They're great weeks and months, sort of last week of September, October, November. These are good months, to see some really nice movement, across the board. And I just want to kind of reference that going forward. And I also want to make a reference to the fact that I was saying when this happened, when we had that, we'll go over to CHSB for a second. When we had this, and I call it the bankruptcy candle, but it wasn't bankruptcy, obviously. But when this happened and the whole market went to shit and everybody's panicking, I remember going into the Discord and saying the landscape is going to look completely different by the end of the year, okay? And you guys hold me to the things that I say, you guys have heard me talk about 197, you guys have heard me talking about, 100K on Bitcoin and so on, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, before the end of the year, but it's important, like I said, to remember, that we speak about these things, and that we go through these things because they help us to solidify the ideas and the analysis that we do and gives us confidence going forward, when we're looking to make investment and trading decisions, okay? So with Bitcoin, we've obviously had a really nice run, and I was saying in the previous video, I love the fact that it's stabilizing up here. It would have been great if it snapped down and reversed and all this sort of stuff, but we can see that it's just ran from here and it really started to accelerate and go into this liquidity up here, straight through it, straight through the level, the key level at 53, and off it goes, full rebalance now, and this is objective fulfillment. What that means is, at this point, you have to look at the overall picture and try to analyze based on a weekly, daily, 4-hour melding of time frames. What that means is, when we're looking at the 4-hour and we say, okay, the move started here and had a really nice run up, that's fine, but we have to take into consideration this area here of liquidity, and that prices come all the way back into it and grab liquidity here, before this happened. That's very important. This is what we focus on first, and when we look on a higher time frame, we see, when we go over to the weekly, that this move from here to here was responsible for the pickup, and then obviously off it goes. So when we look at the daily, we see how that's broken up, but it's still that 1 or 2 candles going into that liquidity pool on the weekly chart, for example. So you have to bear that in mind as we're moving up and down the time frames. That yes, this is a nice move, but we don't look at the start of this move. We look at why the move potentially was going to unfold the way that it did. Now, obviously, we had that reversal, full negation, so the move comes down, full negation here, and then obviously we get that final pop into the liquidity above this line, and then off we go. Full rebalance, where we're sitting right now. There is a little bit more movement to go to the upside, but I don't think that's going to be on the cards just yet. I think with this move starting to accelerate the way that it did and run through this very, very quickly, this shows that there's hardly any liquidity here, which means it's on offload. Price is going up there to just offload, right? And we've seen a little bit of a reaction up here. If we go down to the 4-hour chart, we can see that response up there, but it's holding really, really well. Really, really well. It is likely that we'll come in a little bit into this large candle, okay, which is not a very efficiently traded candle. It's just boom, you know. So we may come into this a little bit, but as it stands right now, turn this down a bit, guys. As it stands right now, we're stabilizing up here. We need to just kind of let Bitcoin unfold over the next couple of days going into the weekend, and we'll see where we fare. The weekend's going to be the key. We want to see the weekend hold this level. If it does do that, then we're likely to see plus 60. But as it stands right now, we've had a really nice move on Bitcoin. It's propping the rest of the market up. We've had a lot of movement on a lot of different tokens, a lot of different coins, but not all of them have been responding, including CHSB, which isn't actually a bad thing, because it shows that Bitcoin is kind of not really controlling the market as much as it used to. It is obviously still the big daddy, as they say, but the confidence that I personally have in Bitcoin to rip everything else with it, has slowly gotten less and less and less, and it actually makes Bitcoin easier to trade. Forget investing, it actually makes Bitcoin a lot easier to trade. And it also, what it does is allows altcoins, tokens, and coins in the cryptocurrency space to be identified easier. The ones that are strong, it makes it easier for those to be identified because their movement isn't being masked by Bitcoin. So going forward, like I said, we are stabilizing up here. I love the movement. Everything's great. It's nice, strong momentum move. So I'm expecting that price is going to stabilize a little bit going into the weekend, and then we kind of assess and go from there. So with CHSB pre-AM8, you can see that almost no movement. Now I'm going to explain why this is actually a very, very good thing. Okay, I'm going to get rid of this for a second. All right, because we've got our key levels on here. We know where we are. We've obviously seen this chart many, many times. But I want to explain why CHSB not moving is actually a very, very good thing. If we look at previous history and the way that CHSB responds and has responded to previous AMAs, previous powwows, okay, we have people that take money out of the yield or take their CHSB tokens out of the yield in anticipation of a move on the AMA or during the AMA so they can offload and maybe do whatever they need to do, right? Well, although those tokens were removed from the yield, okay, whoever was willing to do that, and take a punt on the AMA, for example, were not rewarded for that, unstaking of their tokens, right? It's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just an analysis. It's just the way it is, right? It's a fact. Price didn't really go anywhere. Price just pretty much sat flat. We had a small little pop, around about sort of 72, I believe it was, or 73, yep. But not really much follow through, and it's just kind of settled back into this, sort of 65, 66, 67 range, right? Which is great, because what it didn't do was go down. It stabilized. It stayed there. It said, you know what? I'm going to let you guys do whatever and obviously I talk about price like it's a thing, right? Like it's something I can communicate with, but this is the best way to get it across. It's like price was saying, look, you guys do whatever you're going to do because I've got shit to do, and right now I need to just sit here, allow everything to unfold, let the products be released, let things be refined, and so on. And then when I'm ready to show you the value of this company, then I'll go. That's kind of what price is, what price is doing. In terms of pools and liquidity and everything else, like I said before, and I'll continue to say, we need an injection of volatility. I did explain this in the chat. Somebody asked me, what kind of injection, what is it, what when you say injection of volatility, what are you talking about? And there's a lot of different variables in terms of injections of volatility, but the main one is people jumping into CHSB, right? Volumes. We need volumes to come back into the marketplace. In terms of sentiment and shifts in momentum, we don't really need to see that as it stands right now, because we're going through those months where we're going to get a lot of volume anyway. But there's two types of volatility, and we have to be very, very careful about those types of volatility. Low volume volatility is nasty. Yeah, so I won't go into it too much now, but basically, when you have very thin volumes, I'm sure anybody who's traded stocks will know what I'm talking about, and you put a larger order than what normally goes through at that time of day, for example, price will jump all over the place, and that's market makers, kind of manipulating price and trying to front run you, to make sure that they get the spread, and they take the piss basically, and you get screwed. It's as simple as it gets. So going forward on Swissborg, or CHSB, sorry, it's a confirmation based idea at this point. Until something happens on CHSB, there's not really much that we can do or say in terms of, yes, this is a level, this is what we're looking for, this is what it's likely to do. You guys have seen me do analysis on CHSB for months and months and months, and I'm pinpointing areas where it's going to go and prices doing this and that. I've guided people through price analysis on this for quite a while, and this is just one of those moments where without that confirmation of boom or something, then there's not really a great deal we can do about it. We just have to be patient, wait, and allow price to unfold the way it wants to. The only way to get around this problem, okay, is to drop down to time frames like the 15 and the 5 minute, and look to, and this is certainly not trading advice or investment advice, I'm not telling you guys to do this, but I'm just saying, in terms of seeing CHSB move in terms of intraday volatilities, the jumping down to a 15-minute chart, for example, so let's say it's dipped into the liquidity pool, we had a nice response away from that, it's pulling back, it's in this one now, it's almost absorbed all the liquidity here, so we might get a little bit of a pop now back to say 69, and you're just looking for a 3-cent move. That's insane. I wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying, you're likely to get that on the 15-minute chart because it's such a fast time frame, right? But in the overall bigger scheme of things, in the big picture, it's not really doing anything. It's still sat in that daily range. So not advisable, obviously. I'm certainly not trade advice, as I said a minute ago. But injection of volatility is the only thing that's really going to get this thing moving. Right? So that's pretty much the analysis. I want to just quickly say what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a list of all the wealth app tokens, and I'm going to put them separately, and then basically I'm going to do analysis on all of them in one video. Okay, it's been a while. I've really wanted to just do this and just kind of go through all of them fresh from start to finish. It's probably going to be quite a lengthy video, and I won't be able to get round to that tomorrow because I'm going to be very busy tomorrow. But either Friday or Saturday, I'm going to sit down and I'm just going to do that one video because it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while. So expect that very soon. And with all of that said, guys, as always, I hope everyone's having a fantastic evening. Thanks again for everybody that came to the AMA yesterday and introduced themselves. It was really, really cool, meeting everybody. Me and Ro had a really good laugh, to be fair. And Ken, he was there just chilling with Alex. We were just having a really nice chat. And Niall was there. Niall Cadman, he's in the group as well, Discord server. It's just nice to be able to finally meet people, face to face, and just really go through. I mean, look, we had a laugh. Yeah, it's nice. Like I said, I know I seem or sound a little bit giddy, but it was really nice to to kind of sit down and talk to people and just see it all unfold. And I am very confident with Swissborg going forward. And like I said, I'm going to be looking for ways to kind of move things around and just accumulate the green stuff. Yeah, so we'll leave it at that. Hope everyone's having a fantastic evening, like I said. And I'll catch up with you guys in the next video. All the best. Take care.